right now we are on our way over to Junior's log because we've got some special little gifts to leave out here for the big guys.
Yep.
I read a quote in a book one time, and that's been a long time ago. It basically said, life is not a problem to be solved. It is a great and wonderful mystery to be lived and explored.
Amen.
And I came across a version of that quote not too long ago, actually about a week ago, and I'll share that with you in just a little bit. But I think that is right on point for all of this type of stuff. It is a great and wonderful mystery to be lived and explored.
Definitely a mystery.
I don't think you could pay for truckloads of this kind of ambience out here today. This is almost like a Halloween video, isn't it?
Yeah. Moisture has caught all of these small spider webs on the ground. And they look almost like little hammocks. The way they hang on the pine straw. I find it ironic though, because these are the same areas that we've had the most elemental activity, which we don't talk as much about. So who knows, maybe they maybe they have use for them.
Walking back here this morning, I stopped dead in my tracks. I looked down, and at first, to my eye, it looked like a tripwire, but it was actually a heavy single strand of spider web.
And I was joking with Ken, said maybe that's the elemental version of a tripwire. It was just at the entrance. I said, okay. We haven't been back here for a little bit. We've had some really unusual weather so far this fall. We go from 20 degrees to 75 degrees.
Well, we've got some things that we're going to leave here as gifts that were donated by Stephanie. Mm-hmm. She's watched enough of the videos to know that they like little shiny things and baubles and trinkets and just stuff, eye-catcher stuff. So she donated some things to leave here. And we've also got some more of the caramel apples that Joyce sent. So we're going to leave these here at Junior's log, and then we'll get onto the trees and leave a little bit more for them today. All right, so we're going to see if they like their little gifts here. Stephanie had donated quite the mother load of little necklaces and some watches and shiny little bling and stuff for them. See if they...
She's got a dragonfly for Anku. Arpina's got a pretty gold Christmas tree, and then next to that is one for Bitey, Sobe's mate, and the cross for Sobe, which I think is appropriate as he's aspiring toward being a spiritual leader.
All kinds of stuff there for the other ones.
Yeah, some stuff for the babies to play with.
I got their caramel apples here, so we'll see if they like any of that.
Keep an eye out back here on the back side, because we've caught some interesting visual on other videos.
Well, you ready to get on with the rest of this?
Yeah, nice spooky walk for the beginning of the year. Or end of the year. How's that work?
End of the year, beginning of the new one.
Well, and I'm going to come around real quick before I forget, because I will forget.
Hey, you know what? I'm looking at you, but I'm looking right past you. Remember a year and a half ago we had that little tiny spy camera back here? Mm-hmm. And they tore it down? Mm-hmm. Turn around. I had made that shield and had it mounted on that tree.
It's gone. I mean, it's down. Oh.
I had made a little cover to put over that little camera.
Sure enough. Let's see if I can break a leg on a limb. Yeah, we just had this over it. And that's been pulled and torn down, I believe. All right. No more. Don't worry.
Didn't mean to interrupt you, but that caught my eye. I wanted to make a point of that.
I wanted to show these real quick. Linda G, thank you. Earrings and Joyce. I have earrings. A good friend of mine that recently passed at the beginning of December also left these earrings for me, and I wanted to wear all of them for everybody. Thank you so much for your thoughts and kindness for the birthday.
Yes, and happy birthday tomorrow to you.
What is it? Anxiety.
That means I have to get up early and cook breakfast, doesn't it?
Yep. I got the full menu worked out. I think we're gonna get the waffle maker out.
It was interesting to read the guesses on the jelly beans. It was all over the map, from as low as, I think,
49?
49 to as many as a couple of thousand.
Well, the trick is, or my thought processes work a lot like everybody else's, in the idea that he would possibly put the same number in each bag, but that's not Ken.
No, I'll tell you exactly how I did it. I put a bowl on the counter and dumped another bowl full of jelly beans next to it, and I just counted till I got tired of counting.
True story.
And then when I was done with that, I just grabbed handfuls and put them in the 8 different bags, so each bag was a slightly different, whatever my hand would grab.
And I was really impressed with the winner, because when I guessed, I was way over on a hunch. Wasn't even locked down and focused on it. Wow, what do we have?
Looking at that big...
Yeah. It's just an odd...
Trying to see if I see
if there was a tree closer to it, I would think a small deer scrape.
Yeah, but there's not.
Now I'm looking for...
Now, it rained heavy.
Really heavy.
Yesterday.
What I find interesting are the marks at the top, but that would be really big and really wide.
It just was something different that caught my eye.
Yeah.
I wanted to stop for a second and take a look. So anyway, on the jelly beans, after I got done putting them in the bag, and I was looking for something handy to scribble down the number so I wouldn't forget, and the only thing that I found was a scrap piece of paper laying there in the kitchen from a fortune cookie.
On the fridge.
And
this is also very Ken, taking notes on...
anyhow, yeah, I use whatever you have, right?
34 years, yes.
So I scribbled it down. But anyway, the fortune on there said life is not a problem to be solved, but rather a mystery to be lived. Right there in line with
our thought for the week.
Our thought for the week. So the winner of the jelly bean contest also gets that fortune.
That's right. But on there is the quantity. So if you're paying attention and you guessed, you will quickly realize. I love the woods when it's like this. They're coming up close. Closer. They love the woods when it's like this too, I think. much easier for them to maneuver when it's foggy and kind of misty. The ground's damp with the dew. On a scientific note, the moisture in the air also helps in conducing certain energies. So we'll keep our eye out.
I think that's cool when the moisture gets on those webs like that.
That's what I said, they look like a bunch of little hammocks laying on top of the brush.
Well, we haven't been down here for a couple weeks because the water and the mud was so thick. We didn't bring a great big amount of things today because we did so much.
Did some overkill.
Overdid it on the Christmas stuff. I'll let us go ahead and fix this up and we'll be back in a second. Well, we thought we'd take it a little easy today after that giant Christmas spread that we left for them last week. Got some good things for them though. Their apples and popcorn. Got some granola bars and moon pies, peanut butter, a little bag of jelly beans, sausages, and those are kipper snacks and mustard. I looked all over the place for the sardines and either I misplaced them or I ran out and didn't realize it, but we've got the kipper snacks for them today.
I felt like Junior just said can't have that.
All
right.
Figure out.
We'll get it fixed.
We'll get them.
He said kipper's good, but not the same. Oh, that's funny.
Well, let's get on back there and get the other one taken care of, and we got a t-shirt to give away and got that wall plaque to give away.
That Junior. You know, Junior's name had been given to us, and the way that it sounds, it does sound a lot like the French term Jonah Sequoia. However, his name is Jonah. Sequoia is a term that feels, I'm going to say feels because I have no proof, like it means my son. It's something they use with certain names. And it's not really a namesake or a middle name. It's just more of a acknowledgement of pride.
Well, a lot of their language and the glyphs and symbols and things that they use, it's kind of a conglomeration of several things. I think they kind of like our language, it evolves over time and the slang and the different things like that play into it. But
crows, here they come.
Yeah, it's got a lot of their own natural dialect, but you can also pick up at different times what sounds like Native American, what sounds like French, and that's not surprising because all of this area, you know.
They've also, you know, it's important to remember these are an ancient people, number one. They didn't start in the U.S. per se, much less Arkansas. And they have adopted various dialects through lineage, things that maybe perfectly, what is that?
It's a big crow up there.
Maybe have perfectly iterated expression, or you know, they're very traditional and they don't change a lot. They do, come on, they do modify somewhat. In this situation, they've been extremely flexible with us, but I don't feel that they have changed. I just feel like they have worked with what they know we understand, or what resonates with our background, our understandings of different things, and they're always enhancing that and kind of expanding it. And a couple of them, particularly Anku, he seems well-humored with some of our verbiage, our expressions. Every now and then he'll pop in, and in some ways I feel like he's ribbing me.
Did you hear that?
I do.
Well, come on, guys.
Come on, babies. A big old grunt as we were walking in, and I was double checking for deer, but couldn't see any. We really haven't seen much for deer this year. But their consciousness is such that they have much easier access, I guess is the way that I would put it, to the Akashic records, to points. We would consider it to be history, but Anku's been seriously working with me on the parallels of time in the all time is now facet. And I mean, he's just gone full on quantum. And I haven't really presented that because my goal in life is not to create confusion. So I allow his energy, or what he teaches, to settle a little bit, and then kind of find a way to integrate it or bring it to everyone in something that's a little more digestible. Hi.
Yeah,
We have a visitor. The respect that we have for these people is just amazing. I also noticed there's been a little confusion or question because in the information on the people, when I first asked Anku what to refer to them as, because there are so many names for them, he simply said the people. That was all he said to me. And that's why I personally choose to use the people. But to call them Janu is not incorrect.
but it's not completely accurate either.
Well, he has explained that Janu does mean the people. But there are different types of Janu. There are Janu Day, Janu Dai. It's not as specific, but Anku in his heart space and the way that he perceives them all, he has a very one mind and one heart. So when he says the people, he's including all of them.
Inclusive of all of it.
Versus just this one or that one.
It's like saying dog, or saying basset hound,
It's
or
kind of,
boxer, or whatever.
The way he brings it to my mind, it would be like us, for example. And we classify each other by what? Race, by nationality, by genetic factors, whatever.
Everything.
And he said, how about human? How about human? You're all human. He said that's the way the people is to him. It's inclusive of everything in his world and human in ours.
Well, let's get this fixed up for him, and then we'll do the big reveal.
Okay.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
This is
sticking straight up out of the ground now.
I'm just going to leave it. We've got all kinds of small glyphs around this that I don't remember being here.
Alright, so pretty much everything here is identical to the other tree. There are kipper snacks, moon pies, apples, granola bars, a little bit of jelly beans, peanut butter, popcorn, and some sausages. Well, it's pretty early in the morning. Do we want to bang on the rocks, or do we want to let them have at it?
I feel like we should just let them have at it. I don't know. What are your thoughts? We can bang on the rocks, I heard.
Alright, well, let's
Okay.
go do that.
And
Check
20
it
years
out.
ago, if I had heard the way that...
Right in front of their
Oh,
peanut butter jar laying there.
okay. And I feel like these have moved here. Because didn't I have the big one and another, maybe that one,
Well,
up on
the
the stump?
stump is completely mashed down
Yeah, it's pretty much disintegrated.
now. There's the tennis ball.
They've been over here waiting. Or thinking of us, is what I'm hearing. Okay, guys. Let's do it. Let me find my...
Well, that's not a whoop. Can we have a whoop?
If you would. If you can't, it's okay. Oh no!
You dropped.
Major fail.
There it is anyway.
Stop laughing at me. Stop laughing at me. Yes.
All right, guys. Happy New Year. And we might take a few days right after the first of the year to get caught up on some stuff around the house, so I'm not sure what day we'll post. But we will see you very soon. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.